And I alluded to the awards the other day and Patrick Mahomes being the MVP. And I thought, you know what? And I think we kind of agreed that when we get to the end of the season, you and I started this show together in October. We talked about college football, NFL, and everything. And now we're at the end of this season, and it's kind of amazing. And I think that it's great to commemorate the end of the season in our own way. And so I'm going to start us off here, an award show, the Icey Awards, which are embodying the things about the football season that I think embody our show. And so I would like to get into award season with you. It's Oscar season. And so here we go. All right, the Icey Awards, given out by the Iceman and the Coach. We have 5 awards to give out today. And the first one we're going to start off with, Coach. I love for you to start off here because I just feel like you always set the tone correctly. And that award is...
This Icey Award is going to the NFL player that exemplified the biggest balls. Now, at one point in time, we considered this being an award that was going to be done by actual measurable data. But unfortunately, the person that was tasked with that responsibility quit. So we had to go with the proverbial biggest balls. And so while doing research for this, there was one person I found that popped up time and time again with actual quotes that were referencing how large his balls were and how powerful of testicular fortitude he had. And so that is why Brock Purdy, third string quarterback from the San Francisco 49ers, quotes out there from Kyle Shanahan. He's got some balls out there. George Kittle says he's got some cojones on him. Deebo Samuel, oh, he definitely has balls. Deebo Samuel also says it takes nuts to call a timeout without Kyle calling it. And most of all, in the locker room, he was referred to as Big Cock Brock. So Brock Purdy, biggest balls of the year, wins the Icey Award by a mile.
Congrats to Big Cock Brock on that one. I actually was not aware of that, so congrats to him on that. I know. I mean, what a nickname. I don't even know what I would do with a nickname like that, but boy, what a way to start that off. I mean, biggest balls of the year. You could have gone just about anybody who had grit and toughness, but you went Brock Purdy, who literally was called Big Cock Brock. I would have loved it if somehow we'd have been able to get those measurables as you talked about, but hey, we got to go with the information that we have. Our intern just decided not to be with us anymore. So, next award, the D.B. Cooper Award. And you might be asking, what is the D.B. Cooper Award? Well, that is given to the player who stole the most money from their franchise this NFL season. There are a lot of players around the NFL who probably stole money from a franchise this year. Deshaun Watson, maybe. You know what? I can only think of one player in this scenario that actually played an entire season who stole the most money from their team. And I'm going to give you my pick by giving you his catchphrase. Broncos country, let's ride. Russell Wilson of the Denver Broncos. Yes. Icey recipient, second one overall, but God, what a terrible season.
Yeah, let's just hope the Broncos kept their receipts on that one for sure. I mean, what a disappointing year. And I think a lot of stuff about him personally and how he handles himself in the locker room kind of started to trickle out. And it's just kind of a bad look for Russ. Maybe Sean Payton can sort of resurrect things for him a little bit. That's to be determined. But that's a great pick.
How could I not pick him? I mean, I went through some guys and I'm thinking, there's just no way. There's absolutely no way. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Sean Payton. That'll be next season, and we'll get into that this summer. But in terms of, it's like a Razzie Award, basically. Hey, he got paid a lot of money to dink and dunk and throw a lot of third down checkdowns, and that's not what they got him for. And let's hope that is not the start of the decline in his career. However, we are going to move on to the next pick, and I believe that is Coach of the Year.
Yes, Coach of the Year. So this coach, after 2 seasons, has led his team to a 23-11 record. He's the second coach in this franchise's history to make the playoffs in each of his first 2 seasons. He has his team, led his team to a franchise record 14 wins this year, and also the #1 seed in the NFC and a Super Bowl berth. We are not going to make the same mistake that the Associated Press did, and we are going to give Nick Sirianni of the Philadelphia Eagles the Coach of the Year award.
I like it. I just want to point out that I was listening to Political Football the other day, and Cleve actually, there you go, Jeff Saturday, leader of men. But I will say this, Cleve did predict that Lovie Smith was going to win Coach of the Year. Talk about something that doesn't age well.
Yeah, that's not good. I tell you, Lovey, he really just kind of hasn't been able to get it rolling ever since he left Chicago. And the Bears saved themselves though, because they could have turned into what the Bengals were with Marvin Lewis, where Marvin Lewis somehow kept his job way longer than he should have in Cincinnati, and the Bears were kind of going down that road if they didn't make a change, because I think they were like 500 as the last season or something. They might have even made the freaking playoffs, but they knew they were going to, I think, get sucked into that trap of mediocrity. And most teams would take a 500 record in a playoff berth.
Would
but
they?
I think go ask the Browns fans. I'm sure they would take it in a heartbeat. Go ask the Texans. I mean, but no, Lovey, I think he's on the back end here. I don't know if he's even gonna. I mean, has anybody picked him up? Is anyone gonna try to pick him up as like a D coordinator? Maybe he just doesn't want to live that life anymore. I don't know. But definitely a bad take by Cleve. Come on, Cleve, you're better than that.
He had to have been on drugs. Dave will have to let everybody know what the hell was going on with that. He had some other really awesome takes, didn't he, Dave? Starting this season off, but Lovie Smith for Coach of the Year, he had to have been on whatever Aaron Rodgers is on in his darkness retreat right now. So I guess that's where that came from. Okay, so moving right along. Last one for me personally is Play of the Year. Now, this particular Icey is going to go to the best play of the year, and I think it's very, very important that we all put the word best in quotation marks because it depends on how you define best. But when I look back on this season, I think to myself, what is the best play of the year? And I have to give the award to Jacoby Myers, Mac Jones, and the New England Patriots for their lateral at the end of the Raiders game.
That is wonderfully painful, wonderfully painful.
Yeah, it is wonderfully painful, and not even something that I lose sleep over because, I mean, it's just terrible, absolutely terrible. And how could I not give this award out? If we are talking about what embodies the show best, I mean, we're not the best at anything. So this particular best play cannot, yes, exactly. Mac Jones getting stiff-armed into the center of the earth. He may still actually be there. I'm not even sure. He might have found Narnia. Who knows? He is still there, sitting there in Las Vegas, and may end up being resurrected as the quarterback of the Raiders this offseason. I have no idea, but no way I couldn't give it to my boys in the Patriots. So, Coach, that leaves us with one last Icey to give, and it's going to be a show Icey, and this one is actually going to be a serious one, and we want to give out the Icey for Player of the Year. Now, Player of the Year, when you look at it, it depends. It's not most valuable player. We're talking about the player that is the best. And, Coach, if you want to give this one, because you were very adamant about who this should be, I agreed with you, but I want you to give this because I think that this player, he surprised both of us.
Yeah, sometimes I think people try to get too cute with this sort of stuff, but this is one of these where I don't think you can. I think if you give it to anyone other than the person that we're going to give it to, that you're basically just being a hater or just trying very, very hard to be different. And there's one person who was very obviously the best player this season, who quietly put up gaudy stats that people just sort of take for granted. And that's Patrick Mahomes. And we're going to see him in action here in a few hours today. And I don't know that you could make a solid argument for anyone else over him. He's one of the most dynamic playmakers that we've ever seen. And the way he plays the quarterback position is almost, I don't know that it can be replicated by anyone else. A lot of it is just God-given talent, and the way he uses it is incredibly impressive. So that's why the Icey Award for Player of the Year is going to go to Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
I can't disagree with you. I mean, Jalen Hurts had a season of seasons for sure, and there are other great players. But I think what makes Mahomes stand out to me is the fact that he threw for 5,200 yards and over 40 touchdowns. And we don't remember any of the plays that are flashy because we're so used to him throwing to Tyreek Hill, who, by the way, is going to come up in a little bit during our montage to end this hour. But it was just the kind of a season where I can't believe he threw for that many touchdowns and that many yards, and I just completely didn't realize it. And I knew he was having a good season, but those are amazing stats. And I thought he was worthy of the MVP. He's certainly worthy of this particular award. And he had a fantastic season. And can he put the bow on top of that season and win the Super Bowl? As you said, we will find out in a couple of hours.